Alrighty, good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report, special Friday evening edition here. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, coming at you live from South Florida, and joining me is Davey Crocko, the infamous Davey Crocko, who I'm pretty sure is banned on YouTube, at least for right now, on most of his channels. And
That would,
we've been talking about what a
would be
oh, go ahead.
that would that would be correct. Got rid of 3 of my channels. The last one I'm on has 2 strikes at the moment, so I'm on my last leg on YouTube. Got a couple backups waiting in the wings, but I'll be doing more D Live and more multi-streaming between D Live and YouTube. Uh, but I mean, this is what it is. You can't speak truth anymore on these platforms.
Yeah, and this is my second channel. The first channel I had got nuked a few years ago, and I had just about like I had about 700 subscribers over there before that one got nuked, and then this one I've had for about 2 years, and it's at 725. So making progress, but after all this stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they come even for the smaller channels. So
Well, this latest event is gonna be a ramp up in censorship, uh, as they've already planned around the election, but have extra reasons for all the QAnon retards that were duped into storming the Capitol. They just gave away a huge power shift to the big tech companies. They already own all the power. Point at these people and say these people are domestic terrorists and we need them off of all platforms.
well, that's something I wanted to bring up because like a lot of my, I guess, normie friends, believe it or not, I still have normie friends, are like, all you Trump supporters believe in Q, and this is all QAnon's fault. And it's like I've Q is like the Dakota ring in a Christmas story. It's nothing. It's bullshit. But no matter how many times, I tell people that, they still want to believe that, Q is but behind, the right wing nut jobs, which, so Q is definitely, in my mind, controlled opposition. It's a psyop, whatever you want to call it, and it's definitely part of the script in my book.
Yeah, and the only thing the plan got them, if this was the plan from the get go, was to be caught on camera storming the Capitol and being arrested. So the 4D chess really worked out well for them.
Well, and there's also video out there of them saying, of the Capitol Police just letting people um in, basically, and saying go on in ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, they definitely let him in. This was definitely staged as an event. I think they wanted more damage to be caused. I think they wanted more deaths so they could really ramp down on the domestic terrorism angle. Um, Sadly, they could only shoot one person in a crowded space. A couple others got trampled to death. 14-year veteran, if we believe it, lost their life. Could be fake, could be a hoax. I'm leaning towards that she was actually shot by a Secret Service agent or some kind of actor place that didn't know what he was doing because he shot into a crowd of 10 people that were unarmed in a different room, which is definitely not protocol. And then after he shot her and she's bleeding out. Not one officer of the 10 officers that were there attended to the wound. So the whole scene seems a little staged and seems a little disingenuous to me.
Well, and also you have all of the anti-cop LARPers on the left are now complaining on Twitter and everything else about, oh my god, you know, a Capitol police officer was killed, and now you have the right wing, you know, people being anti-cop now. So the script has flipped, and you know, this was part of the plan to try and divide us further. I definitely saw that coming.
I like to give it like a 80 to 20 ratio, that there's probably 20% good cops and the rest are all egotistical assholes that I couldn't stand.
Yeah.
That's my stance on police. I'm not a back the blue guy. I'm not a thin blue line guy. I look at these guys as order followers to do whatever the bidding of the person above them tells them what to do. So I don't even look at them as human beings. I look at them as just order followers, soldiers that are told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And when they're face to face in real situations, like you saw in the Capitol building, just throwing out rounds in random crowds and killed a woman.
Yeah. Well, and then you sent me this link of the clothes police having striped taped on their Glocks, reflective tape. So um you found this article, so why don't you dive into that a bit? And I'll cue that up here.
All right, yeah. If you want to put the article up, sorry, I just had a text message from random, really weird thing. So this is Alan Powell sent me this, the elusive Alan Powell. Shout out to Alan Powell. I will get you on my podcast to talk about this. Why plainclothes police had striped reflective tape on their Glocks during the Capitol siege. Now, one of the main reasons they do this is to identify each other, as in an active shooter situation, you can see who's on your side, who's not on your side. You know, there's many different tactical levels to this. But where this gets very interesting is the storming of the U.S. Capitol by a quote mob of supporters, which you can read about in other publications. Uh, Police officers barricading the door of the floor of the House of Representatives with their Glock pistols drawn. If you take a closer inspection, the number of those pistols have reflective red and white striped tape on both of their slides.
Yep.
There's an established practice of marking guns in similar ways to help security forces quickly identify each other. Here's where it gets weird. In regards to the use of this reflective tape, they talked to a guy by the name of, if you can believe this, if anybody in the chat can believe this is a real name, Homer Israeli is his name. Now, he is a former chief security officer with Israeli Secret Service, better known, and he was also the previous member of the executive protection team for the Israeli embassy in no other than Washington D.C. So this guy is an instructor, an Israeli veteran, 20-year veteran, and also a DC Israeli ambassador veteran on tactical and live situations. he teaches Israeli tactical schools to police officers, which provides training service for U.S. military and law enforcement. And I just find it very weird that we have this kind of Mossad Shin Bet angle of a guy that was a 20-year veteran in Israel and all of a sudden pops in Washington, D.C., and probably trained some of these cops that were at this Capitol building.
That Pendleton shirt is so fly, it's the hillbilly
I just find that
tuxedo
very
when
odd,
you're a pimp
and
at
I don't
all.
believe in coincidences too much.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in coincidences either. And if we're to believe that if this guy is Mossad, I mean the Mossad, I've always been led to believe, or at least what they keep telling us, is that the Mossad are all badasses, and yet this guy allowed for what 100 people to storm the Capitol. Just on its face, that doesn't make sense. So I'll also real quick Streamlabs donation from Kevin Dugan, $5. That Pendleton shirt is so fly. It's the hillbilly tuxedo. Sam, you're a pimp. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a Friday, so no button-down shirt or polo for me. But yeah, this whole thing with the DC police just
So it's not exactly Mossad. It's Shin Bet. It's just another one of their intelligence agencies, but it's more of a security agency. Um, in Hebrew, their motto is "The defender shall not be seen," or "The unseen shield." It's just an Israeli security agency, basically. Their roles are like safeguarding state security, exposing terrorist rings, which they're great at exposing those, except for their own.
Happy New
Interrogating
Year,
terror
Sam.
suspects. You know, uh, occupying the Gaza Strip. Basic Israeli stuff. We don't need to get into, but just a weird little wrinkle in the story that happened.
so they're so in short, their FBI is basically coming over and contracting here then. Long long story short.
Well, there's there's many stories you can find that Israeli or Mossad or any of their special operations train U.S. police officers. This happens in many states. They teach them their tactics and all of that stuff. This is nothing new.
Right. Uh so the the woman that supposedly died during this riot, there have been lots of interesting stories coming out about her. According to all of the mainstream media outlets, she was she was a big truther, a big conspiracy theorist, and on several
14, 14-year veteran, by the way.
yeah, and yet she was duped by by Trump. That's the narrative. I mean, that's a little. I don't know quite what to make of that whole thing. I almost feel like she was. I don't know. Maybe selected as a because of her veteran status, be made like an example of how bad the quote unquote MAGA people are, that they would lead like a veteran to their death. At least that's what I've been hearing from some of the hardcore anti-Trump people out there.
Now, I did watch videos of them viewing her neighbors, and they said she was very vocal Trump supporter. They literally show her door where it's anti-mask zone. So she's totally on the side of anti-lockdown, no mask, but she did get caught up in the QAnon bullshit, and I think it's very sad that people got led down this road for 4 years, and this was the culmination of a very weak storming of the Capitol. No guns allowed. You're not going to take over anything, and you overpowered weak DC police officers. They actually stood down the National Guard. They turned down other jurisdictions from being able to come in and help. So everything was ripe for them to take over the Capitol, and they still couldn't do it.
What's interesting to me too is the fact that they focused on this. Most of the media did and focused on this this incident. Yet when a Patriot Prayer member was shot in the face in Denver over the summer, that almost got no coverage whatsoever. And I'm not a big fan of the Patriot Prayer crowd, but it is interesting that almost got no coverage whatsoever. Yet this is being replayed on the news and on Twitter 24/7 with without pause.
You got to think of how set up this is.
Yeah.
They knew for a month. They knew for a month that there was going to be a storm of the Capitol. The day before, there was an anonymous call that Iran was going to fly a plane into the Capitol building. They still were negligent in beefing up security in any way possible. Not to mention waving people into the Capitol building. And I think we have video of that.
Yeah, let me.
It's the one called "It's a Setup."
Yeah.
And the you're gonna have to fast forward through the guy with the bad accent, but you'll see the footage.
All right, let me.
And you could watch the shooting if you wanted to as well, but
So I've
that's
previously shown you where
call on
there was
YouTube.
other DC police who actually physically picked up the barriers and removed the barriers, allowing ease of access to Antifa and the other Nazi people. Play for you is it's shocking. There's a lot of hope for people locked up and thrown away the key. This was sent to me by
more chit chat.
I'm wondering if you made this video yourself. Whoever do.
Okay.
So it would seem apparent that you have DC police waving protesters into the Capitol, encouraging them to storm the Capitol building. This would also corroborate with the video I previously shown you where
that's a cop waving them in.
Physically picked up the barriers and.
Yeah, well, I saw a tweet earlier, and I was actually going to bring it in here, but believe it or not, it's already disappeared. There's literally like a still photo of a cop opening the door and into the Capitol and waving people in that I saw.
Yep.
But
yeah, and he said to them, "May disagree with you. I respect what you're doing." As he opens the door, and you can hear him loud and clear.
Yeah.
Say this.
Yep.
And I actually have that for you.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Where is that?
Just send it to you in our DMs.
Yeah, I see that.
We disagree with you, but we respect your right to protest, says a DC police Capitol officer, as protesters are let in the door without any resistance.
Yep, and here's the footage of people just being let in, and this correlates too with the stream I saw last night from some people who were there, and they were saying that they were basically let in as well. What's also interesting to me, Davey, is the fact that at least on some of the photos I've seen of the quote unquote MAGA rioters, there's this one guy with a sickle and hammer tattoo on his hand too.
Yeah. Now, I'm not in the agreement that everybody that showed up was an Antifa LARPer. That's just a scapegoat for some of these MAGA
Right.
people. There's brainwashed Q retards that'll do anything that's said. Agent provocateurs to set everybody up. There's rabble rousers to get everybody riled up. There's agents in place. And there's Antifa LARPers, but the large majority are just brainwashed Trump supporters. And there's actors such as the shaman of QAnon. He's a paid actor. It's like if you were having a birthday party for your kid and you wanted to order a clown, you order the shaman to come in. It's basically what he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already have all these memes of the shaman as well. I mean, someone did a great meme of the someone did a great meme that I saw earlier today of like a Lego set where they were storing the Capitol, and they have the shaman there. So yeah, I mean, it's these people were definitely in there for theatrics. They were playing, you know, American Revolution, and yeah, but now it's going to be used to try and you know, make it seem like every single one of us is like that, and that's going to be the narrative in the coming days for sure.
Well, the censorship is going to be the main thing. And I just did a stream with Tim Truth and I told him all about the ADL and how the Jews of the ADL want to censor speech. And he really tried to push back on that. I had to tell him, like, dude, you got to wake up. Like, this is happening right now.
Well,
Like, every major platform and even every alternative platform put out a tweet denouncing it and saying that if they see it on their site, they're taking it down. That's BitChute, that's DLive, at the main players of Facebook, YouTube, uh, anything with Google, Twitter. Anybody and everybody that has a hand in this is saying they're going to take down any content. YouTube actually just implemented a new guideline because they already have the violence guideline. You can't post anything violent on YouTube already, so they don't need to bolster that. But they just added a new guideline immediate today that anything around questioning the election or talking about Donald Trump as it pertains to the election will be taken down and struck immediately.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I guess too. Twitch just took down Donald Trump's channel, which I didn't even know that Donald Trump had a Twitch channel until yesterday. But yeah, even they're even striking Trump, you know, gaming channels now on Twitch. It's weird.
Yeah, they suspended him for 12 hours saying that he was going to incite violence, but allowed him to come on for 5 minutes to concede the election,
Yeah, and yet
which
they
was very mysterious.
well and well and then they also deleted the video where he essentially says, "Please go home," and they you know, they got rid of that. You can't find that anywhere either.
Trump didn't say go storm the Capitol, but he did say go to the Capitol.
Right.
So, like, his hands aren't clean in the whole but they are really overstepping their boundaries by saying this is like the worst day in American history. Like, you've seen whole cities burned down over a fucking PCP addict getting shot. So, we've definitely seen worse days. I mean, they forget about 9/11. Chuck Schumer called this Pearl Harbor. I mean, they're just off the hinges with what they're trying to compare this to.
Of course, of course they are. I had someone who I was connected with text me and be like, "This is the worst day since 9/11," and I was just like, "Okay, lose my number, please."
Yeah. Uh, yeah, 3 people trampled to death, and you had 1 person shot. Uh, Also calling it Charlottesville 2. So I mean, they already have all these things already. It's all scripted. They have it all ready to go. Um, are you familiar? And I don't want to bore anybody, but are you familiar with the difference of the District of Columbia compared to the rest of the United States?
In some ways I am, but it's been a while. I know they have like all their own underground tunnel. You know, they have like an underground city basically.
So they basically have their own constitution. If you look up, you could probably pull it up for everybody. They have a 3-star flag. They have their own flag and they have their own constitution. It's separate from the United States. And the flag represents the 3 stars: DC, which is the military; London, which is the Rothschild Bank; and the Vatican, which is the religious manipulation towards the masses.
Is it
So,
is it the District of Columbia home rule? Is that what it is?
District of Columbia flag. It should be 3 red stars. Flag of Washington, D.C. It should be very easy to.
Oh yeah, I see that here now.
I would just click images, it would probably show up immediately.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing a whole bunch of them now.
Yeah, so those represent a 3-state empire. And this isn't a conspiracy theory, it says it right in their Wikipedia page, what
Yeah,
they represent.
yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So they have 2 separate constitutions in the United States. And this was because back when our country started, have any money, so we went in financial debt with the Rothschilds, thereby incurring a debt to these said bankers. And then these conniving bankers weren't just about to lend our floundering nation all this money without serious stipulations. So basically, they took over ownership of the country, and that's where Washington, D.C. comes into play. It's just a 10 square mile radius that's called the Empire of the City. And the Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under what they call tyrannical Vatican law. This is called Lex Fori, or local law. And when they passed these laws in the 1800s, it created a corporation known as the United States. So it used to be um, the United States uh, for America, and then it was turned into all caps the Constitution of the United States of America. So
Yep.
for and of makes a big difference. And that's when we turned into from a country to a corporation. Just a little quick DC history. Don't want to bore anybody, but there's reasons why things go down in DC as to other places.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people don't know, and obviously you know this and the audience knows this most likely, but the original capital was New York when the country first started, and then it transitioned to DC mostly because of all this trading and whatnot.
Yeah, and then you had Maryland and Virginia and these original colonies. These are all tied to religion. Maryland is Mary, and Virginia is the Virgin. So you have the Virgin Mary. Um, just all these things throughout history. Maryland and Virginia and DC. Uh, it just all adds up to the fuckery that happened in the early 1800s that subverted our country and sold it to international bankers.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, because I know a few months ago, and of course things have changed, but I remember in one of your streams that I caught fairly recently, well, you said that I think you said that there would be a streaming in, that there would be like a swearing in ceremony, but it would be at like an undisclosed location or something like that. Am I correct on that?
Not sure.
Do you, well, in other words, do you think Biden will get sworn in, or do you think that there's going to be some, do you think there's going to be a staged event or some fuckery with that as well?
I think they want people to believe there's going to be violence. I've heard he's going to be doing a virtual inauguration. That was the first thing I heard. If he does an in-person inauguration, they're going to bring every staged crisis actor they can bring in to cause mass disruption and blame it on Trump supporters.
Right. Well,
Yes, I do think he'll be sworn in on the 20th. I do.
I I think he'll be sworn in, but I don't think he'll last. I don't think he'll last very long in the job. Honestly, I think he was brought in as the Trojan horse to get Kamala in office, or maybe someone entirely different as president. Who knows? It could be
I'm,
Pelosi or
I'm
someone.
thinking, I don't think it's going to be Pelosi. I think it's going to be Michael Obama.
How would really? I'm curious to go down this. How are they gonna make Michael Obama president? Because he/she isn't even in political office right now.
There was Trump.
Well, that's true.
You don't need anything. Kanye could have been president if they wanted Kanye to be president. It's a whole new world now. You don't need to be in politics. Now, Obama can't come back. He served his 2 terms. Michael can step in. This could. My prediction is gonna be I have an over under on 6 months of Joe Biden's health declining and him not being able to be fit for president. Invoke the 25th Amendment. Kamala Harris will become the president. She will have carte blanche to name her vice president. I don't think she will hire a man other than Michael Obama.
Oh no! Oh no! Of course she's not going to. And I mean, I tend to agree with you on the over under 6 months. I'll put it at 180 days if you want like a more exact number, if that. And then I mean Biden has already said that he'll step down if he has a disagreement with Kamala too.
What a bitch.
Well,
You're the president. You're supposed to be the president of the United States. You have a disagreement with your vice president, and you're immediately going to step down. Uh, I could see him. This is a big play. I could see him getting COVID,
yeah.
dying, and then really pushing it from there. Another thing that Chalk Buddy Outline brought to my attention is something that they busted out in, I believe, 2018. That Trump could use to try to subvert a lot of things, and this was the presidential text emergency system. If you remember this thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember getting text messages on that in high school. That was weird.
So his theory is Trump is going to be using that to communicate with his base through the next 4 years to keep his political name out in the ring.
Well,
Just another theory.
that theory works. I've also heard that um I mean I've heard stories that Trump wasn't expecting to win in 2016 and his whole plan was that Hillary was going to win initially and then he was going to start like a news, like a Trump news network. I actually remember like seeing stuff that like some like Turning Point LARPers were going to go over to the Trump News Network if he lost the election.
Yeah, Agent Pozo, uh, Cernovich, a lot of these fucking retards. All of you might get involved. I mean, they're all there. Nick Fuentes would have his own little spot on there. I mean, it's just the guy should be using his YouTube channel more. The guy should be using his social media platforms that he's not banned from more. Him being the Twitter king, he has not built up any other social media platform.
Yeah, and I mean, I love the narrative that a bunch of the Q people had that they'll never ban him from Twitter because it will, then they'll become invaluable and people will leave. I mean, nobody's on Parler that's on the mainstream. Nobody's really on Gab, except for like alternative media people. So
Yeah, I can only see so many N words as I scroll through Gab that I just gave up. Like, just too many edge lords,
yeah,
like trying to make a point.
yeah,
Like,
too many edge lords. I, I for me it was too many K words too.
well, for me, this ended very abruptly when Andrew Torba, the guy that created Gab, went on Alex Jones the night of "Screw Your Optics, I'm going in," and said willingly, without the FBI asking him, he handed over all DM messages to the FBI. So that makes no different than Twitter or any other mainstream social media platform.
Yeah. No, no, I love how people think that like all these, all social media platforms are safe. I mean, it's the internet. Nothing is private on here.
And I just wanted to make another point. It's very off topic, but it's about the shooting of the woman.
Yeah, go
Um,
go ahead.
I don't know what footage. I don't know what footage could be shown if there's blurred out versions, but basically the guy shoots into a crowded room. They're not naming the shooter. From what I hear, it's Mike Pence's Secret Service agent. Nobody reacts. nobody to the wounds. Then there's also another officer, a capital officer, so a capital murder, that died during the altercations in a scuffle. His name is so her wound was to the neck, and his name is Brian Sickneck. I just
Yeah.
find that just bizarre and very weird.
Yeah, I mean, truth is stranger than fiction, if you believe in coincidences. Well, and I mean, like I said, I find it weird and strange that the person who got shot just happened to be like the most, you know, MAGA and pro QAnon person that they could, you know, that they could find. I mean, this chick was literally your stereotypical QAnon person. You know, a retired veteran who's kind of disgruntled and on all these Q message boards and whatnot. And then she goes to DC and um she gets shot. I'm curious. Did you ever have any messages, Davey, of people inviting you to go to DC prior to
No,
this?
no.
Oh, that's interesting. I did, and I
Maybe
just
some maybe some emails I ignored.
yeah
But no,
I definitely I had some Facebook messages on people from people who follow my show's Facebook page, and they were asking if I was going to go to DC basically, and I didn't really respond to them, but I mean the fact that like people right up until till the day before were also trying to get people to go. So this thing was also, to me at least, it's really suspicious. They were really pushing it. It seemed like.
yeah. I would never go to Portland. I would never go to DC. I don't want to get your channel a strike, but my dream scenarios are these places that all the money that Trump didn't use to build the wall, that they build a wall around these cities and just let these people have it out until they're all perished.
Yeah, well, I don't think that'll get the channel a strike. Well, my whole thing too is if the and I brought this up on my stream the other night too, but if the Proud Boys want to have like a rally somewhere, why not do it in a supposed Proud Boy friendly territory? Instead of in like New York City where where they're diametrically opposed, or Portland. Like they keep going.
So, so like a place like they're comfortable, like a gay nightclub or something.
Well, yeah. Yeah, basically that's where they need to have that's where they need to have these, because otherwise they're just
More
asking for trouble.
sex toys hanging from the wall, butt plugs optional. Yeah, sounds like a very Evan McGinnis. Even though he's not around anymore because he snitched out everybody in his group, and now they're led by a bunch of Ricans who get arrested on a daily basis. Um, but censorship is going to be ramped up. We've already seen the quote unquote walk away movement. This is another one of my big problems. These walk away movements. I used to be a liberal, but now I'm a Republican. Or I got off the plantation. These pro blackety black types like Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens. They
Well,
left one plantation to go to the other. So Facebook removed the walkaway campaign. BitChute reminded uploaders to not allow incitement to violence. Um, let's see what else happened. Live does not condone illegal activities or violence. So every platform made a statement about this.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Candace Owens because I've never understood understood people's fascination with her because she originally started that what's it called, the project
Bully,
against,
bully hunters.
where she was essentially like doxing, high school. And look, I'm not for bullying, obviously, but I'm also not for doxing high school, kids and ruining their lives either, which is what she was doing. And even Joe Rogan, who is pretty controlled, even he was calling her out on that when she was on his podcast like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
I mean, she's a very glaring grifter that they all look up to. Like, if you're a pro-black Trump supporter, which it's not like a surprise thing anymore. There's like tons of them. So like you're not special for being black and a Trump supporter. But if they get close to Candace Owens, they feel very special. Even though she's a lifelong liberal who just found the grift of it's the Dave Rubin grift. You know,
Right.
I didn't leave the left. The left left me kind of thing. Then they just go on, and then all of a sudden they change their politics overnight without doing any research and automatically are conservatives now. So you have a F, a G, Dave Rubin claiming Judeo Christian values with Ben Shapiro. You have Candace Owens, who had a liberal doxing site for bullies. That the list goes on of these people.
Well, and then also, don't forget how I found you because of the whole Owen thing. Owen was another guy who supposedly, walked away, and he was he was following this whole script, about being a lifelong, about being about being a conservative turncoat up until the whole Nimmer thing blew up in his face, and then he spiraled once his handlers more or less abandoned him, and
Yeah,
now
and shout out to Johnny for having those clips of him voting for Hillary and just the whole everything that came out.
yeah, and I mean I'm pretty sure I don't know if this clip is still up, but uh one of like the last Milker Nation clips out there that I saw was of him basically saying that Joe Biden would be a better president than Trump would be because, quote unquote, I got more censored under Trump than I would under Obama. So, that just goes to show where Owen's mind is at too.
Yeah, well, no one knows where his mind is at any given time. But kind of got off the Owen train. I feel like I did my damage. I did what I needed to do on the
Yeah.
battle and just kind of walked away.
Same here, and same with Vox Day. I'm not really paying attention to Vox either. The only thing is because Vox believes in QAnon still, I am curious to see how that little weasel is gonna try and explain all this away, but you know.
Yeah, yeah. I might look through his blog post and I had a Q stream lined up, but then this whole Capitol thing happened, and just kind of proved every point I made for the last 4 years that I was telling people that this is retarded, and there is no plan, and there is no such thing as an insider. And it's sad to see that people still don't believe it. It's really it's bizarre.
Well, it's
Is it
what it is it's inconsistent. You know, like I've asked I've asked these QAnon supporters like what QAnon is, and you get like four different answers. Everyone I've talked to in the QAnon movement has a different answer for what Q is. None of them have any consistency whatsoever. It's all different. It all varies.
Yeah, and if you listen to them talk, I mean, when JFK Jr. came into the picture and a lot of this other retarded shit, and people just started saying, I'm not going to disavow. Jordan Sather is my favorite one. Just by far my favorite QAnon person. I also enjoy Praying Medic because he claims that he has dreams of what's going to happen, which is just amazing. And he
Yeah.
makes like makes a shitload of money by telling people he's having dreams. Uh, Justin Nemo's. A lot of these people are just making bank on straight up lying to you.
Well,
It's the
yeah, go ahead.
it's the David Wilcox grift from like 10 years ago.
I
Of the secret space program.
I had some anonymous Q-tard like email me last year, and they were wanting to get on the show to like do like a document dump or something like that on me, right? They had all these exclusive, you know, documents, and they wanted me to be the show to go over them. So I kind of played email tag with this guy, and you know, kind of played dumb, like, you know, well, why would you choose me? And this guy basically did the whole thing from the Matrix where you know, Morpheus tells Neo that he's the chosen one, right? So in this scenario, I'm QAnon. I'm the chosen one. I'm supposed to be the conduit. And I think that's how QAnon gets a lot of these people, is by telling them that they're chosen, that they're, you know, part of a bigger thing.
Oh, it worked for a while. It's still working, but these people are in a cell for domestic terrorism. They're going to be playing not 4D chess. They're going to be playing chess out in the yard with a bunch of big buck nigs that want to beat their ass. So, I doubt it's going to be fun for any of them.
Yep. Well, and then the rest of us are gonna get painted as, you know, QAnon people, unfortunately, by the low information normie normies out there.
Oh yeah, I was saying if you thought the anti-white stuff was bad, just wait. Just wait till this year comes into play.
Yep.
Uh, it's, it's gonna be all out war on anybody white, anybody they perceive as an ex-Trump supporter. Heard of the list that they've made? You've heard of all the stuff that they're planning to do. Uh, kicking people out of places, not allowing people to enter buildings. Yeah, it's gonna get serious. I'm not one of these Civil War guys. Like we're past North versus South, but it is gonna be little pockets of people fighting each other, and I think we just need to find a way to all come together. That if we disagree on politics, which number one, I think politics is all fake and all scripted. So I think we need to focus on the vaccine and focus on the lockdowns at hand and see where we can find some common ground on that.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I've been saying too, is, you know, when it comes to, like, really, this stream is the only time I talk politics anymore. I don't really talk politics with anyone, you know, in my personal life outside of you know, my home. But because it's not just worth it's not worth it. It gets really dicey really quick. And it's interesting that you bring up the vaccines and the lockdown, because I feel like there was some unity in people coming together with the lockdowns and whatnot, and you know, people were kind of starting to come together on that, and then they threw the George Floyd thing at us. You know, once people started to come together on that. So
Yeah.
there,
Do you think the woman? You think the woman yesterday that got shot's gonna get her golden casket? I doubt it.
no, nope, not at all. They might give her funeral some they might give her funeral like some coverage, but it's not going to be very much. I can guarantee you that.
I hopefully she gets a military send off at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they'll do it in private more than likely. So,
Yeah.
how
Is there anything, I was gonna say, is there anything else you want to speak on before we wrap it up?
not really. I do want to resume some super chats because I see that I've gotten some, so I'll read those off for people.
Yes.
But
Of course.
so Andy's random edits with a 20. Happy New Year, Sam. So thank you,
Right.
Andy. And then Al, I did see that you I didn't mean to delete your message. I do see that you sent me a PayPal donation, so let me check and see if you included a message with that here. And L is always great with helping out the community and promoting everyone. So
Yeah, it was great.
we love L. Me. All right, L with a $5 donation. No message, but thank you very much, L. So no, I don't have anything more that I want to go over. Just wanted to you know, kind of go over how this whole thing was staged with you. Any upcoming
Yeah.
any upcoming streams that you want us to know about?
I did 4 already today. A couple guest spots. I did a couple of my own. I may just do a movie hangout tonight in Discord and on D Live where we watch a movie and just hang out. Uh, and then Tuesday at midnight with Wild Smile, the Midnight Crockpot. Wednesday, Crocko and Valentine. And I'll be live on D Live for the next 8 days or so until I get my YouTube channel back, and then we will be multi-streaming to both platforms, Davey Crocko and Davey Crocko on Live.
Cool. So you're streaming pretty much every day now, huh?
Every day. This is my official full-time job until my job basically cut hours to absolutely zero. I hope make it by month to month, man.
Yeah, well, I you know, I'm here to support you in whatever way I can, and you know, I appreciate you coming on the stream and bringing your audience here. So I really appreciate it, Davey. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, brother. And, I will speak with you shortly. Enjoy your night, and I'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks everybody in the chat. Love all you guys, and I'll talk to you guys all very soon.
Yep, thanks for coming on, guys. So we appreciate it, and this will be my only stream for today, but I'll probably be in the hangout tonight with Dave and everyone else. So feel free to tune into that. Also, thanks to all the new subscribers, and I'll be back for my regular show tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. But other than that, I want to thank you for tuning in. From all of us here at NGC Studios, have a good night. God bless. God save this great nation. God, freedom, legacy in that order, and I will see you on tomorrow's show. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right. All right.